The Cary Grant of rock and roll, the great Brian Ferry, part of the London glam scene that we'll be exploring on GPS this Saturday. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
And I'm Ron Bennington. Now, give us the times, Gail, because I'm going to be listening to every one of these.
So this is going to be this Saturday, 3 p.m. East, premiering on Deep Tracks, Channel 27.
Seriously, this is one of my all-time favorites. Matter of fact, I'm going to say this. Detroit, San Francisco, you're eating dog shit this weekend because the London GPS delivers.
Do you think this was our most fun to cut?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just personal levels. I mean, like the one you had in New York City. It doesn't make it any more or less important to the scene. It's just personal.
Exactly, yeah.
Vito's is the North Jersey of, I believe, oddly enough for him, like 1975. I got the fever for the girl. So yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. GPS London.
London, England.
London calling.
So that's 3 p.m. East on Deep Tracks, Channel 27 this Saturday.
I'm going to be listening to that.
Me too.
I'm going to be listening to that constantly. I'm never turning it off. Beautiful day out there, but I will say this. Here in New York City, everything is just packed over by 30 Rock because they turn the lights on the tree.
Yeah.
I tried to come through today and was just stopped by 1 million people taking pictures of a tree that's going to look pretty similar to the tree that they have at home.
Yeah, but it's way bigger. You're not thinking about the size factor.
No.
Massive.
Yeah, but it doesn't look that way in a picture, does it?
But also, anybody who rushes down there to see the tree lit, I mean, I understand if you're only here during this time.
Yeah.
But no one else needs to go. It's going to be up there for a very long time. We've got many weeks with this massive tree.
BL wanted me to give hugs to all the cast members. So, just like Disney people, you're cast members now. You're not
nice.
Just human beings.
Great.
Chris, you're staying in the other room today because you're sick?
Yeah, I think I'm getting the rain the last 2 days, walking around without an umbrella and just being soaking wet. I don't think it's good for my immune system.
Well, most of the things you've done to yourself are far more dangerous to your immune system.
But he refuses an umbrella and then doesn't have a hood.
He thinks it looks effeminate and or homosexual.
Don't like an umbrella at all.
Look, we live in a post-Caitlyn world. We're not supposed to be turned off by any gender stuff. Plus, a man should carry the umbrella, not the woman. Even when they're together, the man would have the umbrella. Do you know nothing of British culture?
I'm not an Anglophile, Ron.
Why?
I thought everyone in America was an Anglophile.
It's GPS London.
Yeah. I'm serious. I think every American and twice as many Canadians are Anglophiles.
It never appealed to me all that much.
You're crazy.
Why?
You're just making that up. If we start to go through the movies you like, the bands you like, you'll be like, God damn it, I'm an Anglophile.
I think I could be an Anglophile based on the Kinks alone.
Oh, yeah.
If that was all they had going for them, I'd go, yeah, it's a great country.
The Kinks, the way they dress, the chicks, the birds they went out with. And like you also spent fucking 4 years going, yeah, baby.
Yeah,
at me every chance
exactly.
you got.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
Just make you horny, baby.
That was him.
Do you miss that time when everyone could just do impressions like that?
I miss him. He had one bad movie and he doesn't make any more.
That's not fair.
Michael. You like Michael?
I do.
Well, you're supposed to do I set you up.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. But yeah, he did the one movie that didn't go over well, so he just stopped.
Yeah. I don't know why. He was one of my favorites as a kid.
He was everybody's favorite. Literally the whole world loved him. And now what?
No one?
What's the last thing that he's done
Shrek?
at all? Oh my God. Now instead of talking,
I'm going to say the last thing he did was that small role in Inglourious Bastards.
I think you may be right.
So you didn't even need the facts. We accept it as truth.
Michael Myers, first Halloween. That's his first movie.
Yeah.
Everyone
That's
loved
when we
it.
came to, that was his breakout role.
My favorite movie of his is I Married an Axe Murderer. I will cancel dinner if that thing is on. I will call my friends and say, I cannot make it to dinner. I just found out that on home box office right now, I Married an Axe Murderer is on.
Hello.
I ordered a large. But, I guess he's got $1 trillion and he just doesn't need to shite anymore.
Yeah, I think between the Does That Make You Horny Baby trilogy.
Yeah.
Is it 3 movies?
Yeah.
And then all the Shreks.
Oh, yeah. The Shrek money must be just crazy.
It's just crazy Shrek money.
I never saw a Shrek.
Well, that's because you're an adult. None of us have seen a Shrek, but we know that they're out there.
And they're very popular.
And we know that fucking families will sleep out overnight so they can watch Shrek.
Seems like bad parenting to bring your children out into the elements.
Eddie Murphy is playing a fucking donkey. Stop being, just because you have a cold, stop being so negative today.
He just fears the elements now that he has a cold.
I
wouldn't want a child to experience what I have.
You should get a cloak of some sort so that you can keep yourself warm.
I'm a big fan of a cape, a hooded cape.
I'm mad at myself today because it's this jacket weather, and I know, Chris. When are we going to jack it off? Forget that. That's stupid. Okay,
just stop with that.
I forgot a scarf, and that makes all the difference in whether you're warm or not.
Now, does this neckerchief count as a small scarf?
To the Cub Scouts, yes. But what I'm looking for, which is neck and throat warmth, no, it doesn't work out. You ever notice Vito's not a scarf person?
No, I've never. Have I seen you in a scarf ever?
No, in high school I went through a little scarf phase. I've had a Mets
You
scarf.
were scarf face back in high school. Thank you, Mom. Thank you.
Uncle Ma.
Oh, that was the shirt that you wore to the big Thanksgiving party when I got the laugh. Oh, that's a V-neck. And then that just
hard to tell.
And then I looked over and watched his mom cringe as the room was laughing. I also was looking at your mom when you came out in those tight pants.
I did not look at my mom.
I was staring right at her. And I said, mental note, make sure your mom never gets that face, Ron. Never do that to her. I forgot. We wanted to send a poster down to your grandfather that you forgot to bring, and then you've forgotten. I mean, we're all the way up to Thursday now. We're like are we a full week away from Thanksgiving? Is it a Thursday?
Yeah.
It is.
Wow.
It is.
Time is just going by too fast.
It was about a week ago.
I'm taking too many pills. And time. I'm like one of those movies where the calendar is just like blowing off.
Where it's just like the spitting off the like single calendar thing. Oh, God.
Let me tell you something. Your favorite movie, L.A. Story.
Love.
It was attacked from a science point of view. Who's the famous pop culture scientist that everybody...
Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Neil deGrasse Tyson, who was literally one Snickers bar away from being fucking Kirby Puckett if he's not careful. But he said the problem with that movie is that they showed time going past. So they showed the moon going over, and the moon was going in the opposite direction. So he says, do not watch L.A. Story under any circumstance.
It's weird because it's a movie about a magical sign that communicates life advice.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess he could have picked that out, but the moon is what grabbed him. He gets very upset if there's the wrong sky. So in the movie Titanic, starring Leo, Neil decided that it was the wrong stars in the sky
for that time of year.
And James Cameron went back and corrected it.
Whoa.
He went back and corrected it. And he says, you fucking happy now, Neil deGrasse Tyson? I saw Neil...
Pours over every detail, and then somebody's just like, actually.
All right. Just because he's smart doesn't mean that he has a nerd voice. But I saw him on that Four Courses show say that when he was younger, he was a high school wrestler, and he... I don't know, got squeezed hard or whatever, that he just pissed himself out in the match. And I'm going, it wasn't even a bouncy house. Because that's Chris's thing. You pissed in a bouncy house out of pure happiness.
Yeah, just laughter. Insane kid laughter, and just piss started coming out of me.
Like, show how you were jumping up and down. You're just.
I was like bouncing. It was like not even just like up and down. It was because it was a house of bounce. So I'm just fucking bouncing off walls and shit. So it's like,
yeah. And you were so happy you just started peeing.
Oh God, yes.
And then you didn't get out.
No, I stayed. I stayed and just stayed in my pissy pants.
While others bounced in puddles of your piss.
Did the others dive out, yell piss boy?
I don't remember being called piss boy, but it could have very well happened.
To this day, you're not ashamed of it because you feel like who wouldn't have pissed himself with all that excitement?
It was a moment of pure joy that affected my body in such a way. It just came out of me and just soaked my pants.
Such delightment that one would urinate themselves.
You can understand it, though. I mean, you are bouncing. You know what I mean? And you are happy. So why not just let it all go? I'm surprised that you didn't drop a turd down your pant leg.
I mean, it was probably coming if they didn't take me out of the house fast enough.
What they do? Have to put a fucking crab net over you and drag you out?
I didn't want to leave. They set it up in the gym of PS 166 in Queens.
By the way, that's so sad. You weren't anywhere like of a place of joy. They brought in this thing for the lower income kids to bounce for a while.
Oh, the joy on their little faces.
Make sure that they bounce for 15 minutes and then we give them a block of cheese to take home.
Cheese day.
So sad.
I don't know. It was a happy memory.
Yes, that's the problem. That's where you peak on a bouncy house.
Best day of your life.
You know that children have these in their own backyard now?
That's crazy. That's too much for a kid.
What, a backyard?
Yeah.
That's the thing that shocks you? It's like a small park right next to your house that you own.
Wild.
All right, now, you heard about the Von Miller sex tape. Von is going out of his way to stop this. He had sex with a female partner. The two of them enjoyed sex. And then she is now trying to sell the tape that she taped to them. And he's saying the only reason why you had sex with me was to tape it and then sell it. And she said, no, I saved the tape because I masturbate to it. This is her defense.
Now, when she's being questioned about it, there was like a little pause. Like you could see that she's like, should I express this? And you're like, you know what? In order to clear my name, I'm going to be honest.
I thought maybe the lawyers told her to say that. You know what I mean? Like, just say that you're fucking batching to it. That's all.
But her claim is that she's saying, no, you came to me as a preemptive and said, I'll give you this money if you never release it. And she's like, I didn't start this thing. They just wanted me to have millions of dollars for this tape.
It's the lawyer's fault.
This is why a lot of high-profile people would rather have a prostitute. A nice, classy prostitute.
Now, the thing is, too, is that she said that she wasn't going to do anything because they both had recorded stuff. So she figured, you know, we both had something on each other. We both had a little tape. She didn't think that everyone was going to get, you know, serious about releasing it. And she claims it was a preemptive strike. But they say the opposite, that she's blackmailing them.
Well, first of all, who would want to see her? We'd never heard of her before. He was the MVP of the Super Bowl. So that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, hey, I wouldn't mind seeing Von Miller fuck. And it didn't matter who he was banging. That's the thing. But if she put out a tape,
right?
I'm sorry, it goes straight to Pornhub for free.
She just hung on to that to just put into the junk trunk, if you will. The ladies' version of a spank bank.
Now, you're saying that she was fingering herself in the ass when you say junk trunk?
Whoa.
No, a trunk full of junk that you've
No,
witnessed.
They say how much junk is in that trunk is how big is your ass.
Yeah.
They don't actually have a trunk filled like a junk drawer?
No, it's like junk is in penis, your junk.
Uh-huh.
And then the trunk is the stashing place, like...
That would be your ass.
Yeah.
No, it's
she got junk in that trunk.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Like a trunk where you put all your porn tapes.
Thank
like
you.
a porn chest.
What fucking year is this that you have
Porn chest.
porn tapes?
Well,
that
yeah,
you're
but you
keeping
don't
in your
put the
closet?
things to spank to in an actual bank either.
Like a hard drive.
Where do you go, Vito?
For porn?
Yes.
I go to Pornhub. I also just use torrents, like download the full movies. I like getting the plot. I like seeing what's happening.
Oh, dude, you gotta get rid of this fucking full movie shit.
No, I really like going to the end because sometimes they put a funny scene after the money shot where like the friend comes home and he's like, "Oh no, why'd you come home and fucking your mom?" And it's like it wraps everything up.
No, straight gonzo.
I didn't know that they did that angle, like the Marvel movie angle, after the
I
fact.
think it's great.
It's my favorite part, and I just like seeing the setup.
I had a buddy's friend that they grew up together. His uncle was a big porn guy back when they used to make the porn movies. And I helped them come up with a pitch would be a comical porn movie. And his uncle, who used to wear a gold chain around his fucking neck, said, nobody wants to laugh when they're jerking off. Right? They don't want your fucking funny little jokes in there. And these two guys I knew, they were like, dude, come into this with us. Believe me, this could be the first of 50. Use a fake name if you want to. So we're just writing fucking jokes and gags and stuff. And the whole thing was just scoffed at within seconds by him.
Unbelievable.
No, I saw his point immediately. Like the second that he said it, I'm like, yeah, no one's looking for a good long laugh and then a cum. You know what I mean?
No, you're a visionary because now there's, like we were talking about yesterday, there's Seinfeld parody porn. The amount of parody porn.
And they sell like shit. No one really likes those. Those things are like we were talking about where the designers will do like a funny thing, but then you buy all their regular clothes for $60.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody fucking cares about those. They don't sell like the other ones do.
I watched the Star Wars one. It was pretty good.
Star Wars might be different because that's cosplay.
Yeah, that's the thing is I think that people would just do it for the novelty of doing it, not even because they find it to be sexy. They're just like, oh yeah, why not?
You mean watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure, yeah, but you're going to watch that once. Where, you know, because Vito's a different kind of guy. You want plot because you went to film school.
Yeah, I want plot. And also because, like, in porn, they use a lot of the same actor and actress, like, pair-ups over and over again. So it's fun to see a different reason for why they're doing it.
God, you're so pathetic.
That is
so
fucking
sad.
weird, dude.
That's so sad.
Just throw on some gonzo porn and jack.
Gonzo porn's lame.
Why do you want that stuff on your hard drive?
Because it's easier to get to. I like having choices.
Everything streams now. You got a search
Everything's-
box.
I know. You can stream
Look.
anything in the world.
This phone right here. I got unlimited porn on it. Whenever I want, however I want it.
But you're not doing a commercial,
Yeah,
dude.
what do you mean?
I hope you, can I tell you something else? I hope you die from this cold.
I don't want to die. I don't.
He's already pathetically begging for his life.
I can't tell you how hot this room is, by the way. It's a fucking sweatbox in
It's like
here.
that every day.
This place is crazy.
Oh, God. What just happened to you?
He can't take
This place is crazy, man. When did you turn into 70s urban comic?
Hey, my man.
What's up,
Say, babies.
What's up, Daddy-O?
What's up, young blood?
Just stop it. For a minute, stop it. They just showed that Trump's plane was taking off to Indiana. Now we're going to have to watch every time the Trump plane takes off. And there also was some debate whether he would keep his plane or join Air Force One.
Yeah.
And supposedly the Secret Service says he has to take Air Force One.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he goes, there might be like, because he has gold seatbelts and he loves the idea of that. But they're like, yeah, but you don't have missiles. And that's what we need to protect the president. You can't be just showing off how nice your plane is when attacked.
But I had this custom made. It has all my amenities.
And it's going to be shit in 8 years, let's face it. Nobody wants an 8-year-old plane. We never have really gotten into Gail Meets Girls. You got to push that a little bit.
Yeah, so it's available now on iTunes. It's my new podcast. You can also go to the Interrobang, and there is a download there as well, or a link to iTunes. So in this episode, I had Amy Miller, Carrie Cottet, and Liz Mealy.
Now, for your next episode, yes, I would love to be there.
Well,
What I'd like to talk about is the difficulties of being a woman on the road.
yeah, the thing is, like, it's supposed to be women actually discussing it is the only thing. I mean, I get where you're coming from,
But wouldn't you want to have the other side of it? Like the way I treat women when they're on the road.
Sure.
Like, you don't know anyone here, do you? No, I'm not giving you your keys back till I get a little kiss. Until I get a little kiss is the fucking funniest thing. Because I'm sure even that kind of sexual fucking threat hasn't happened in 60 years. It used to be, give me a little kiss.
Good taste.
Yeah.
Ew.
Vito has a different thing where he just lays on top of people using his full weight.
I'll only get up if you give me a kiss. Please, I can't breathe.
I can't.
My lungs are going to collapse.
Is it always the woman on top?
No, I've been on top a few times.
Really?
Yeah.
How did that
A
go?
few times. They're dead. They passed away.
Never like body on top, but like I'll be like kind of a 90-degree angle situation.
So you got to like use your
Yeah,
upper arm strength.
By the
to,
way,
like,
nobody would have called that on top in the history of the world.
What, like that's not on top?
Yeah, when you're at an L shape.
Well, yeah, but I mean because she's on her back.
and where are you? I mean, you're like doing a half push up here.
So like yeah, like
No, he's going in the opposite direction, right?
body is over, like hands are over, like arms are spread across breast area.
Not on legs.
That's none of my business, by the way.
Legs are up.
Yours?
Your legs
No,
are up.
her legs are up. Her legs are up.
Wait, now I'm imagining him belly down but leg up.
Here's what you need to do. Watch the movie Blindside. You'll fucking pick it up. So go ahead. We're sorry we interrupted you.
So, like I said, legs on top, like
Put the
feet.
mic back into the stand. Stop acting like you're a stand-up comedian.
Come on, bro. Get it
He's
together.
walking around the room with a mic.
It's like, you guys related over
Am I
here?
right, guys? Hey, you know what I mean? Chinese food, right?
So feet are
Oh
up
my
here.
God.
Feet are up here.
Yours?
Whose feet?
Her feet are up there.
Up where? We're on the radio.
On my shoulder, like on my shoulders. Legs going down body.
Your legs?
Penis in vagina.
Okay.
So hot.
It's the first thing I
Weird.
understood. The first time I understood anything was where the penis was. Up to that point, it was a fog.
But yeah, 90-degree angle.
I see what you mean. So her legs are up here on
Yes.
your shoulders.
On shoulders. And
I
you-
wouldn't call that on top.
No, I wouldn't either.
But
No.
she's like on her back is on the bed.
But your
my back's
weight
not.
is not on her.
I use my weight to my advantage.
You're bad. That's rape, brother. You're discussing rape right now.
I use it to my advantage. Oh my god. It's one of your
horrific.
strong suits.
It's fucking horrific. It is
Well, I have the
disturbing.
weight thing going for me.
I thought that you just kept her in your palm while you were swatting down fucking airplanes that was shooting at the two of you. It was beauty that killed the beast. Will you ever look at the Empire State Building and think about climbing on the outside to the top of it?
Like sometimes, especially because it has that step formation.
Step formation.
I don't know what to call it. It goes like
I know you don't know what to call it. That's why you came up with step formation. Step formation is something that you have to do when you're in boot camp. Everybody in the step formation right now.
Like the Empire State Building?
Wait,
One confused guy.
Sarge, I can't line up like the Empire State Building. See, I'm from New York City. He'd be the first guy fragged at fucking boot camp. Just shot down. Oh, you're a maniac. Hey, are you guys going to be reading Caitlyn Jenner's new book, Secrets of My Life?
Can't wait for it to come out. What do you think the secrets are?
She's done a good job. I think, and this might sound crazy, I think she's Bruce Jenner.
No.
What?
Wonder Woman. I think the secrets of her life is that she voted for Trump, Mitt Romney,
Right.
John McCain, Bush twice.
3 times, really.
Why? Because of the first Bush?
First Bush.
Nice, Chrissy. But it's not the same person. It's not the same.
Still a Bush.
Oh. No, I have zero interest Look, Caitlyn Jenner has done one thing that's ever interested me. She won the decathlon in 1976.
That's pretty interesting.
Everything else seems like shite to me.
Maybe this is the secrets of how to win the decathlon.
That is a fucking book I would read. If she came
The
in,
training regimen.
if Caitlyn came in here today with her fucking hair on fire, I'd still be talking to her about the decathlon. So what happened exactly? How much did you have to train for that? Did you think you had it pretty early on by the third event? Kanye got out yesterday.
Yes, he has been released out into the world again. That was what, 1 full week?
Yeah. And then he put out 9 albums yesterday.
Great.
Because he couldn't sleep. They say a lot of it is because Kim got robbed. And that he has used her as his kind of comfort zone. And then when he found out that she was fragile, it just snapped him.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And probably he just felt like she's in a bubble of protection all the time.
Right. And when Kim is on top, she has to be at a 90-degree angle. She has to use the same exact moves that Vito used.
She uses her weight to her advantage.
Works really well, so I hope she does.
He believes, just as when you're playing the offensive line, in sex, whoever stays the lowest to the ground is going to end up winning. All right, this is, well, I'd say it was a sad story, but the guy was 90 years old, so I guess it's a happy story. The man who invented the Big Mac died. Now, he was I don't even think he was an executive or a marketer. He would just own one of the stores in, I think, Western Pennsylvania. But a crazy invention to be known for, right?
Yeah, and it's probably it's like their signature thing.
And has been.
Yeah.
Since the day that he did it. Although, Vito, you said you never ate a Big Mac before?
Yeah, I've never had a Big Mac.
Me either. I've never ordered a Big Mac. It seems like too much burger.
Big Mac.
Le Big Mac.
It's not that much burger. It's less than any burger that you would get.
Well, I mean, it seems like so much bread is what I mean to say.
Well, it's just an extra thing of bread. It's like a turkey club, but with burger.
And special sauce.
The special sauce is incredibly special. It's ketchup and mayonnaise. Special.
That does sound special.
Let me make this special for you. I think he did something even more impressive than that. He invented the Egg McMuffin.
Really?
Now, the Egg McMuffin is a stunning invention because now Burger King McDonald's, but later all of them picked up on it. Instead of being a lunch-on place, they were breakfast. They added 5 hours a day to a building that they were already paying rent on and insurance on. They now can make money for those extra 5 hours. That had to be billions and billions of dollars. And I'd also like to make this point. I don't think anyone had a breakfast sandwich of any place, even diners, before McDonald's.
And that would be a game changer because fast breakfast is like the biggest thing that people try to market is like breakfast on the go. And that would have been the beginning of breakfast on the go.
And it didn't exist before that.
Yeah.
If you wanted breakfast before then, you had to sit down for 30 minutes. No more. Not thanks to this guy. I don't even know his name. What's his name?
Jim Delegati.
You're the best, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
Now, am I wrong? Did any diner ever have an egg sandwich before the Egg McMuffin? I think no. I think he actually invented the fact of, hey, take the egg, put it directly on the toast, and start eating.
Wait, what?
Before that, they were separate.
Dip the toast in an egg, right?
I'm not sure if any diner had it.
Mind-blowing.
It's mindfuck. This guy, this fucking simpleton from, what, you know what I mean? Basically a nut dragon fucking coal miner came up with 2 giant inventions.
And again, I would say McDonald's second most important invention. You know what I mean? Like both Big Mac and Egg McMuffin, probably their 2 most significant items on their menu.
Well, other than fries.
Okay.
Their fries.
He didn't invent the fry.
No, the fry was around before him. McDonald's actually made the fry saltier and sweeter at the same
Delicious.
time. I don't know how they did it. They dipped it in some kind of sugar salt.
Let's make this taste less potatoey and more saltified.
Stunning. This guy is stunning. This is a bigger loss than I think America even knows. I wish they had Shark Tank back then. I'd have fucking Mark Cuban that ass and try to jump all the way in. I'd have outbid everybody.
This is actually making me want to go out and get a Big Mac in his honor.
And you've never eaten one.
Yeah.
The last 2 bites you're not going to be able to eat. They disintegrate.
What happens to them?
They just turn into something that isn't known to men.
No, Chris, you're a Big Mac fan, right?
I like a Big Mac, yeah. But by the end, everything's sliding around on the actual burger itself. It's weird. But I love a Big Mac.
He gives I love it, and then gives a negative, and it's a weird.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to positively.
You'd make a great mom someday.
You know what you make? You'd make a great bad lawyer. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it looks like my client has done it, but he's a really good guy. But he does sometimes stab people. I'm not going to say that he didn't. Please, look at me. Fucking let this fuck go. Thank you. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you, Ma.
We're trying to put together a very quick December to remember Comedy 101, and I talked to a person who agreed to judge that the audience would be mind blown.
Nice.
And then I've talked to the representative of two other judges who said, I'm sure they would love to do it. Let me check the schedule. And one would blow the mind of this audience. So we may do this quickly.
This is a very exciting one.
Jim, Nova Scotia. Jim, how are you, buddy?
Good, my man. Yourself?
Great.
Great show. The Western Sandwich. That was up before the Egg McMuffin.
All right, let's look up the Western Sandwich. And who made this?
It was basically scrambled eggs, a little omelet put between 2 pieces of bread.
But at what place was it?
Diners mostly back in the day.
And they would just call it a Western?
A Western Sandwich.
Now, I always remember that used to ask for the Western omelet.
Yeah.
But in Atlantic Canada, they have one called the Eastern as well, which means they just add onion to it. But basically, it's ham, little green pepper, onion, egg scrambled up on a 2 pieces of toast, Western Sandwich.
So the the Western was pre this. So he might have had the opportunity of how do we take a Western sandwich?
And give it to a nation.
Yeah. And look, give it to the world. Stop being such a Trump backer. This was progressive enough. McDonald's goes out to the whole world. I mean, you're down on the Amazon, and you're just like, there's just giant mosquitoes on you and shit, and you look up and you see the arches, and you're like, oh,
thank
God. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Mom.
John, Toronto.
Yeah, how you doing? Bennington's. How's it going?
Good.
Yeah, just I want to say, first off, I'm so glad I don't have to fucking worry about what I say on the air. Terrestrial radio is brutal.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, I know. So I've been working constructions for...
Oh, dude, your phone.
Oh, no.
Your phone went out. Maybe terrestrial radio is attacking you right now.
Hello?
I heard what you said.
Hello?
Yes,
Yeah,
we're
we
all
got
here.
you.
Oh, okay, good. I was just going to say I've been working construction for about 37 years.
Yeah.
And all the catering trucks that come around, all the coffee trucks, right from the first day on the job, they've always had like some kind of breakfast thing, like a Western sandwich or even like an Egg McMuffin type thing. So maybe McDonald's stole it from them because I know they were doing it the years before I even got on the job.
All right. We appreciate it. Seems like the Western sandwich would have been first.
Yeah.
Not, by the way, put on a English muffin.
Right.
Which,
on toast.
Have you ever been to England? They just call those muffins.
That's just a muffin.
And I'm going, that's not a muffin. A muffin is a whole different thing. The English muffin is actually even a weird invention, right?
Love an English
Because
muffin.
that thing as a solid, you will never see anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, it literally has to be sliced in half before it becomes something.
Right.
No one will say, could you do me a favor and not slice that muffin? I don't know if I could eat one.
Oh, my God. That looks so delicious. I love an English muffin.
Yes, we get that. But what I'm saying is, if you don't slice it, is it anything?
No. It's just a piece of, it's like a weird dinner roll or something. It's a roll. It's a roll if it isn't sliced in half.
But you never would get that sponginess inside.
No, never.
You wouldn't get that thing once it's sliced.
No. I think that would be probably like a savory muffin.
Now, could you ever eat one that was untoasted? I mean, you're saying it's like a roll. No one says, could you toast that roll for me? Therefore, this is not a roll.
No.
It's something quite different.
An English muffin almost like untoasted almost seems like raw.
Dough.
It's just too doughy.
It's just straight dough. You have to toast it. And quite frankly, I don't even lightly toast it. I go in deep. But then you got to slice it. And you don't really, I mean, until the butter hits, then you're like, oh, this looks delicious. But without butter, I wouldn't eat a dry. You know, you could eat dry toast. Could you eat a dry muffin?
No.
English muffin?
No, I couldn't and I wouldn't. And definitely not untoasted. It's almost like gummy a little bit.
I like that.
You like what?
I like the doughy texture of things. Like I'd eat that.
But have you ever?
No,
Have you-
I'll try it.
See, but that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, yeah, not on a dare, but it's like it would not be a preference for you.
I think I'll just try it. Like I'm gonna buy one. I'm gonna go to the store later and buy one and try
Do it. Please do it.
It's disgusting. Let's say it's
Just let him be himself. He wants to try something different. If this kid has a dream of eating an untoasted
I know,
English
but it
muffin.
just sounds so gross. No, thank you, man.
No one ever says no thank you, man.
No thank you, Mom.
You know what? You know what else sounded gross? Taking 3 ships and sailing to the New World. Everybody was grossed out by
Ew.
Christopher Columbus. They thought he was disgusting. And now look at him. He has his own day that people hate.
Still, though, too many dudes on one ship for too long.
So what are you saying? Bring hooers along?
Oh,
You're
my
disgusting.
God. Chris.
Look, first of all, you haven't dated in a year and a half. So you're the last person who acts like you've got to be around women. Like shooting fish in a barrel, am I right, Dave?
I'll never forgive you for it.
Thank you, Mom.
Oh, thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Mom.
We've taken yours, and now you hear how weird it sounds, and you go even further.
Yeah. It gets worse and worse. Thank you, Mom.
That's where it's going to go. You fucking maniac.
Sounds exactly like that guy.
It does. What guy? You don't even remember who it was.
Yeah. You're doing an impression of an impression of an impression now.
Dan Perlman.
Finally got around. He has to be right. He has to give a correct
Not even
answer.
close.
Look at you sweating like a fucking animal just from being in the other room.
Not feeling well.
You're going to sweat that cold out. That's good.
Here's the thing. Vito is usually sweaty. I've never seen him look that uncomfortable or sweaty in there. And he's someone who's prone to the sweats.
Well, this is the funny thing about Flop Sweat Vito. So the other day, we're all together. I can't remember. And we're
having a meeting?
Yeah, end of the year meeting, right? But we were having lunch while we do it. So Vito was the only one who's done his homework. As a matter of fact, all the rest of us have been taking shit for just adding and not,
Here's too thorough is the problem.
I know, but we're all supposed to do our own. I'm just going to cut and paste Vito's and then add mine to it. But so while he's telling this, and we're all saying, oh, this is good, Vito, he gets a flop sweat because everyone is paying attention to him. And we're at a restaurant. He actually takes a piece of bread and starts mopping his sweat with it.
Everybody was staring at me. I was on the hot seat.
But you were doing fine.
Yeah, but it didn't feel. I never feel like I'm doing perfectly fine. There's always room for error.
But
no one said
look,
perfect.
you're not out in front of a bunch of strangers. You're with everyone that you know from work. There was 5 of us at the table. This was not, I have a really difficult time public speaking. You're doing the same thing as you're doing now.
The quantity of
Yeah,
sweat.
but that moment we were all like, everybody was looking at me. I had my food with me. Like, I don't even like people watching me eat, so I had that on top of my head. There was a lot going on in the
First of all, none of us are fast enough to watch you eat.
Whoa, did you see that? I missed it.
That burger was going so fucking quick. Pretzel bread and all.
What's sad is I actually tried to in my head, I was like, I'm going to eat this a little slower in front of I don't want to finish too quick in front of everybody.
You said that out loud. Now, this is the other thing. This might be why you feel bad in public. You ordered your burger and you said, can I get that with pretzel bread? And Chris goes, ooh. And Gail just turns on him and just starts yelling, you let that boy order whatever food he wants to get.
That does sound like me.
You let that boy eat what he wants to eat. I was actually doing the women of my family.
Look, he should have won sesame seed bun.
That's not up to you.
Yeah, but who ews at somebody's order? It's so rude. And not just like a little dislike. You went, ew.
Jen went off menu and did the island somehow.
Yeah.
I did.
What did you order?
Mahi tacos.
Where is that even made at? The place is a burger place.
She's veg.
Is that right?
Oh, well, I'm pescatarian, so I eat fish, but not meat.
I didn't. First of all, I don't know why I never paid attention to this before. So you will eat fish.
Yeah, I'll eat fish.
But is it because you don't like meat, or you think of it as a cow?
I just did it for like health reasons at first because, everyone was on this vegetarian tip and I was like, all right, let me try it. But then I realized, okay, I need something. I need some sort of protein. And I love fish and I couldn't stop eating that.
So you'll eat lobster?
I love lobster, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you must fucking dream about it because there's no meat in your life.
Is there any lobster on this menu?
But what about a chicken wing?
Nope, don't eat that.
Just half. Just one bite.
What if it's a flat?
Nope,
A what?
nothing.
Flat
Flat
piece.
wings.
All that is the fucking wing broken.
Flat piece sucks. I'm all drumstick.
I don't know. I don't mind when they break up the wings.
I like it. I like to have some options.
Thank you, Mom.
No, I like when they break it up. I just don't.
Come on.
All right, how long, Chris, do you think you can go on her fish diet?
2 hours? Like,
Come on. You don't eat meat every 2 hours.
Plus, your tuna fish is your number one thing to eat.
He probably would do fine, though.
I supplement the tuna fish with chickens and whatnot, and steak.
Chickens.
I like chicken salad.
Really? You're tuna salad man and you're chicken salad man.
By the way, I've always found chicken salad to be disgusting.
I actually like chicken
I'm not
salad.
a fan.
The lady hates chicken salad. No mayo.
How was your food?
Delicious.
Yeah, looked good. Looked a lot better than those burgers we were going through. Well, when the place has when it's a burger place, I can't imagine going to fish. For the same place that if I was at a seafood place.
Would you rather do the fish tacos or would you have done like a veggie burger if those were your only option?
Veggie burgers disgust me. I would have gone fish taco. Her fish tacos looked amazing.
Yeah, they did look good actually.
Great.
I couldn't tell because, Vito was standing in front of her, sweating and bubbling on about this and that.
I went through a lot of napkins that day.
Guys, I thought for the year end.
It's just sweat dripping off his lips. Oh, God. Oh.
And then he would try to explain like the most obvious things because we're doing the year-end special for the year-end comedy, and he's just like, I thought Kevin Hart because he had a special this year.
You don't have to justify it, Vito.
Giant tour. Plus, he made the movie with The Rock. He was in 3 movies. We're like, you just said Kevin Hart, and everyone's going to accept it immediately.
Yeah. You had to justify each one.
I just wanted
Then it's just he's got the #1 Pinterest account in America. I didn't think there would be this much pressure. I'm going to faint. I'm just like, thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Mom.
That's good. That's good, Mom.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Mom.
Are you panicking now? Just thinking
No,
about
I'm just.
You're starting to get a little sweat on
No,
your forehead.
I was sweating a lot before. I'm cooling down now. I don't like when everybody just stares at me like that, though.
What?
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know what to do.
This is the fucking business that you're in, that one of us is talking at any given moment. This will be your time to answer.
Come on, Mom.
Come on, do everything right.
Come on, Vito.
Vito.
You're letting everyone down and you're being judged.
Vito?
I don't like when you do the eye bulge thing, especially.
What is that? What did you do?
Vito?
No, but she
Vito.
does like.
Vito,
I'm trying.
Vito, do.
I was doing the eye bulge thing to Chris yesterday. he got fucking played by Zito. And then I had to do this thing, and every time I looked over at him, I'm like, and before it, he was like, no, Zito takes care of me. Zito's my man. No.
No, thank you, man.
No, thank you, man.
No, thank you, man.
You're a fish for this guy, man.
No,
You see that fucking guy over there? He's gonna stick his tongue out at that girl. Girls like ice cream. That was the craziest thing at all. Where you just thought you could pick up women by giving them ice cream.
Those two had no idea what was going on.
Didn't they? They ended up fucking running the whole world for a good 15 minutes before they were killed. It's so fucking terrible that rappers love that movie.
They love it. They absolutely
Because they want to
love
go
it.
out in a blaze of glory.
I guess so. But for some reason, they all wear the shirts and have the posters in their home.
And the jacket, the Scarface
Oh, yeah.
jackets were so goddamn popular, like, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago. Like there were entire stores dedicated to different Scarface leather jackets. It was fucking crazy. I don't know what the hell happened. I guess because it came out on DVD.
All right, relax. Relax.
You have like the opposite problem of,
You're overplaying the most obvious thing in the world. We've all seen them in their
You are
jackets.
too comfortable to explain this.
I guess because they live on the planet Earth, and each of them have parents, Why are you wiping the sweat down
I
now?
hate when he does that when he looks at it. I don't know what it is.
Here's the-
he
also-
wipes his sweat and he goes, ugh.
Here's the thing. You wipe your sweat from the wrist area on, not from up near your shoulder. He gets way up there and then he
You
looks.
go very high.
He goes
Do it
very
again. You did, yeah. He just like doesn't
And then-
help his
Then he
sleeves are rolled.
checks. Then he checks like there's going to be a lake of sweat on his arm.
Most of the times there is.
Now, do you get sweat from being nervous like Vito does, or just heat? Like, can you?
Straight heat.
How do you show when you're nervous about something? Like everybody has like physical tells. Do you have a physical tell that is?
My knee will fucking shake. I think I'll like restless leg syndrome. That's it.
Yeah. How many
Okay,
times?
I just thought he literally meant this. Like a cartoon character, like.
I'm going to explain to the radio audience visually. She was just moving her knees back and forth in a very amusing manner. But how many meetings have we been in that his big dumb fucking leg starts going?
Yeah, you're right. He does do that.
He just thinks, I'm going to be exposed.
All right, calm down, Thumper. It's all right.
You are a fucking thumper, dude.
I think I'm a blusher.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never noticed. I don't know how I
I'm like-
show nerves.
I feel like, oh God, your face feels just hot, but
Oh.
not sweaty, like red. And you're like, oh,
Also
God.
by my fingernails too. That's one I've noticed.
You would think for people, because that's an OCD, but aren't most OCD people like germophobic too? Because that's like the most
Yeah, it's
fucking,
pretty. It's
the stuff that you're putting in your mouth then.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I'm like, what am I doing? Oh, I must be nervous. This is horrible. My fingers,
or like I'll
your
catch
fingers
myself
in your
doing
mouth.
it, and it's like I just got off the train, and you're like holding the pole, and now you're like biting your fingernails. You're like, what am I doing?
Whole fucking
Germs.
pole germs in your mouth. I just lick the pole. I'm just like, I wonder what this pole tastes like.
What about those people who hold the pole with their butt?
Yeah.
I
do
hate that.
I do that sometimes.
I hate it. And especially like if it's like a woman who's wearing like
Sundresses.
leggings or a sundress, it goes like between the crack. Like, and you're like, dude, you're hugging the pole with your butt cheeks. And that's at child level too. Like,
Do you think women understand how much a sundress exposes? Because here in the city, when I'm walking in the summer, any woman wearing a sundress, the wind, if it's coming towards her, pushes that dress into her vagina tightly and forms in a way that you never would any clothing at all. She's totally exposed.
It's nice.
And I'll just point right at her crotch.
there it is. I just saw your vagina.
Yeah.
Looking
That's
at
it right there. Your vagina's between your legs today. Chrissy, we need to break here because Lord knows Vito will never tell me.
Yeah, we need a break, Ron.
I'm going to be right back. Oh, I got some exciting news for everybody. Barry Crimmins will be appearing on the Conan O'Brien show. Conan O'Brien in December. well, 22nd, I believe, 21st, the 21st of December, which is the shortest day of the year. Barry will be appearing, talking about his comedy, what his comedy means to America, and then Barry will take a victory lap of the planet Earth doing a tour.
That is so awesome. I cannot wait for that.
No, this is weird because Conan is your favorite, right?
He's one of my heroes my whole life.
And Gail, your favorite is Barry.
Barry's my favorite.
And they come together.
It's like our two favorites.
I believe
combining
in Berlin. Did you see Conan is going to Berlin with his show or something?
Oh, that's cool.
No,
Or he went to Berlin with it? I don't know. I saw the ads on TV.
People love Berlin. I have a friend who just went there, visited, and was like, I'm not coming back. She just stayed.
I spent years in Berlin with Iggy Pop and David Bowie, the three of us. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It was the three of us.
I didn't know that.
It was me and Iggy that David was singing about in the song Heroes. That was us.
Oh my
By
God.
the wall. Mm-hmm.
Why hasn't this come up earlier?
Because I have so many stories. Okay? I mean, I'm the guy who invented penicillin. You think I'm going to fucking end up... Yeah. I left an English muffin out too long. It got moldy. I said, fuck it. I'm eating it anyway. It cured my polio.
Did you toast it first?
No, in those days, I didn't have a toaster.
You had
Isn't
polio?
that funny? Huh?
I didn't know you had polio.
We all had polio at one time, my friend. Everyone has little bits of polio in them.
Well, I want to say thank you.
Thank you. We'll be right back, Bennington. That's our buddy Mike Zito from his album Make Blues, Not War. That's #1 on the Billboard Blues charts right now. And our buddy Mike Zito is on the line right here. Mike, how are you, buddy?
Man, I'm smoking a doobie after listening to that tune, man. It sounded so good.
It really did sound good, didn't it? But I got to say this, #1 again. #1 again.
Well, I'll tell you what, thank you. I've never been #1 on Billboard before. I've been on iTunes or other things, or I've been in there. But this was the first time I've ever been #1 on Billboard. And I got to tell you, it's the last time, because tomorrow the Rolling Stones release their new blues album, so no one will ever be #1 ever again.
I'm going to tell you this. I think you fight them off. I think you're able to battle them off.
I swear, look, this was really fun because we didn't realize their record was coming out. And, you know, I'm just a working guy, you know, we're just making records and playing gigs. And the label told us about the Rolling Stones record come out, and they go, look, there's 1 week. There's 1 week that you could be #1 between your album coming out and their album coming out. And so they were like, we got to really try hard to try to sell as many records as we can. And they did. And I'm thrilled. So
but here's the thing that'll look cool. Next week, it'll have the Rolling Stones #1 at you and #2. That's really fucking cool. You know what I mean? That's really badass.
That would be amazing. Like I see they send me these things like from Amazon or whatever, and then it's got a picture of like the Rolling Stones album and my record. And I told my wife, I'm like, take a look, because this is never happening ever again.
All right, you know what I think is funny is it took the Stones so long to put out a blues record because that's the stuff that they came up on.
I wonder too, though, when like an artist, a rock band starts to dabble in a different genre of music, does that make their fans then go out and listen to more blues?
Yeah, it's always good. Yeah. I mean, there's always in the history. Yeah, it's more.
Yeah, it's always good. This, to me, this couldn't be. It couldn't be better than to have, the Rolling Stones, the biggest rock band in the world, put out like you said, back to the roots. But it's a really kick-ass Chicago blues album. And, it seems like every 20 years there's a little resurgence in blues, and I'm thinking maybe that's where we're at. So,
well, when I was a kid, there would always be, the English bands were always championing some blues act, right. But, and that is literally what made me go out and pick up stuff by Muddy Waters, it's always interesting though. Like if somebody's going, hey, if you're interested in where I got here from, this is it. You know?
Yeah, totally. I mean, when you see those pictures of like Clapton and Freddie King and Johnny Winter and Muddy Waters and all those guys, you know, basically bringing them out on stage and, you know, or the Grateful Dead too, either opening for them or playing in front of them so that people could, you know, see like this is where we're coming from. This is what inspired us. And, but yeah, I think it's really interesting to look back now and go, you know, I was into Van Halen when I was a kid. I still am.
Mm-hmm.
And, but everything I liked about it was all the older David Lee Roth stuff where they kind of played Ice Cream Man and the old blues songs just kind of rocked out. And, you know, it's fun to follow that trail, you know, when you finally hear Muddy Waters and go, man, that's the shit right there. That's it.
Yeah. I still don't know if there's ever anybody that'll ever be as good as John Lee Hooker, like as terms of just being straight, badass, you know, everything you want.
Everything about him is the vibe and the music, you know, it's like, it oozes. And still when I hear LaGrange by ZZ Top and I love it, I hear it and I go, and when he goes, how, I go, well, that cost $1 million. That right there. That's $1 million because he's, you know, they know who the real deal is.
Sure, absolutely. Well, congratulations to you for being number one, and then also congratulations to you for you're going to be on the charts tomorrow with the Rolling Stones. I still think you're going to hold them off. I still think you're going to be number one at the end of the day. When all the
think if we had a wrestling match with the Stones, I feel like I could take 2 out of 4.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Just stay away from Charlie, though. There's something mean about that son of a bitch. All right, Mike, talk to you soon, pal.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
All right, talk to you soon.
Take care.
Peace. We'll have to keep an eye on that album tomorrow. Look up that album and see what song that the Stones are playing. And we got to do a Chicago Blues GPS. We've been wanting to do that for a while.
That's going to be a great one.
Would have been perfect to put out this, you know, now. Then we were like, hey, look, we were all tied in with everything. Mike Zito.
Everything.
Yeah. But John Lee Hooker was the guy that was always my guy. Who was you? Well, I mean, I saw B.B. King when I was younger, and then got to meet him at XM Studios, and somebody had taken a picture, and I'm looking at him the way a 5-year-old would look at Santa Claus. I mean, I couldn't believe. I could not believe it. And I was in the middle of the show and walked away from my show just to ever say hi to him. Crazy. Because he couldn't come outside because it was too hot. He's very bad for me, man.
I would say maybe Buddy Guy was one that I liked.
Buddy Guy is just amazing. Amazing. What do you got, Chris? What are they doing?
They're doing Howlin' Wolf's Commit a Crime. They're doing...
By the way, I'll just say this. I was told I saw Howlin' Wolf when I was younger, but then I went back and checked some dates. I don't think I saw Howlin' Wolf. I think I saw a guy saying he was Howlin' Wolf.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, too, though.
But let me tell you, I was just as happy. But I don't know. It was just right around the time.
They're doing Just Your Fool by Buddy Johnson, Blue and Lonesome by Memphis Slim, All of Your Love by Magic Sam, I Gotta Go by Little Walter, Run 'Em On Down by Eddie Taylor, Hoodoo Blues by Otis Hicks and Jerry West, and Little Rain by Ewer G. Abner Jr. and Jimmy Reed, and then 2 Willie Dixon songs, Just Like I Treat You and I Can't Quit You, Baby.
This is really going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm very interested to hear
I'm actually more interested in this than if they would have had a new album out. Did he turn off his mic, or did we just not hear him?
Did you say something?
No, I turned my mic off. I was talking to the
It looked like you gestured like you were about to say...
It's a very weird thing to do while we're mid-conversation with you. Here's an old blues man. Mitchell Walters is on the phone right now. Mitchell.
Blues. I'm all about the blues.
Yeah, sure.
The 30 milligram blues.
Yes, we understand. We got it. We knew where you were going. Mitchell, I understand that they tried to fuck you out of Highlander last. Yeah.
They tried to pull a Hillary on me. It was nice.
I know.
Nice. They tried to, the electoral angle. I didn't like the electoral vote.
Let me tell you something, though.
I heard Yeah, they tried to pull a move, you know. But it's all right. I know you took care of it. You're the king.
Can I tell you something? I didn't take care of it. Flats took care of it for you. He called me in a fury. So Flats is your man. And because these guys kept everything from me. And then when I found out about it, I'm like, let me see how long it takes them, you know, to tell me that my old friends are pissed at me. We're never going to say a word. We're never going to say a word.
Well, happy Thanksgiving, by the way. You guys look great in the picture there.
Oh, thank you very much, buddy. Where'd you spend Thanksgiving? Track?
I was in the Borgata. I was in the Borgata. I was in Atlantic City working.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was a good gig. Nice time.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm at the racetrack. You know, I'm going to be 65 next Wednesday.
65 tickets to Jesus, my friend.
Yeah, unbelievable. I won the over.
No kidding. The over was with you could have been picked up 3 decades ago.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah. Well, who are you betting this week? You have any idea?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Green Bay. I still have Green Bay left.
Oh, who are they playing?
Green Bay is playing Houston Texans.
That's gonna, Green Bay really looked like they were back, but they're also playing the Eagles, who were very inconsistent. So.
Yeah, I know, but Oakland, it's either Green Bay or Oakland. I'm sticking with Green Bay. I mean, Buffalo might get lucky and beat Oakland.
Oh, could happen. Absolutely. It's weird. Everything looks cloudy until Monday. Then it all looks so fucking obvious to you.
I know.
All right. Best of luck, Mitch. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Thank you. Goodbye.
3 people left in the Highlander. Mitchell Walters, one of them. Jim Florentine is part of it.
And Robbie Slovic,
who is nothing but pure class. I'm kind of even rooting for Robbie because he could have taken this thing.
Yeah.
But this will be the last Highlander. This will be who's ever the Highlander winner this year will be the Highlander winner for all time.
There can only be one forever.
Forever and ever, like fame.
This Highlander actually was quite a competition. Remember how early it was over last year?
Yeah, more than most years. Maybe the most ever. That's why it's beautiful that this will be the last year, what with all the controversies and the length of time, and it'll be exciting. I'm happy about it.
Robbie gave me his pick. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
He's taking the Bears.
Hi.
I don't know. But
Who are they playing?
He seems confident.
Yeah, you should have told me who they're playing rather than half a bet.
I believe they're playing. I don't know what they're playing.
Okay.
Lions.
That doesn't sound like a good bet to me.
Vito doesn't speak within 5 minutes. A film just covers his throat.
Lions.
They're playing the Niners.
Thank you, Mom.
They're playing the Niners.
The last Highlander. Very exciting.
Oh my gosh. There can only be one.
Forever. There will only be one. Almost had a fucking hit put out on me last week.
I'm glad that you didn't. I'm glad you're still with us.
Well, what are you going to do? You got to keep moving. That's what I say.
Oh, yeah.
I go down now, so what? I still think I can pick up the over. Be 65. But the track. He does enjoy his life, though.
He does. He has a fun time. He's a happy guy.
Yeah, he is until he's sad, and then he's really down.
Sure.
And that's the way life should be.
He feels it all deeply.
You know, we were bringing up that thing of going back and reading books. Is there a book that you'd like to read from that, like you read when you were a kid in that sense?
Well, I got into Kurt Vonnegut because I read Slaughterhouse-5 in high school.
Oh.
So I started to read all of his books after that, but I have never reread Slaughterhouse-5, and I wonder, from an adult's perspective, how different it'll seem to me.
I've reread it. It's fucking, I love it still. But I always think that you could do like a weird Slaughterhouse-5 using 9/11 now. Like when he used that, I thought, what a weird thing, you know, to go back in time like that. But he was a soldier there and that actually happened to him.
Right, it was Dresden, right?
Yeah. But can you imagine that you could easily do that premise and you could call it the fucking Starbucks 5. You know what I mean? Because people in coffee houses were trapped in 9/11, and it was the same kind of thing. Vito, for you, what was the best book that you were forced to read in school? This actually could be open to the general public. 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God, because I certainly remember the books that got to me when I was a kid, and I certainly think to myself, man, that was more of an impact.
Yeah,
I can remember.
I mean, that was my experience. Like, I couldn't believe that somebody had given it to me in school. You know what I mean? Like, it just felt like it almost felt like too good.
Right. 844 Rock God, what book did you read in school that was a game changer for you? Maybe it was forced on you by an English teacher. Maybe you just picked it up yourself. Vito, what about for you?
It was Catcher in the Rye, and I know like that's the big one that everybody says, but it was that book everybody talks about your whole life, and I didn't expect it to even like hit me like it did.
Particularly this time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the time of the year for it.
I wish I could remember what age I read it, but I very specifically read it before it was assigned to me, because I reread it again when I had to do it in school. But I knew that I was going to love it just from the people that I had heard talk about that book. I just knew I was going to love it. So I wanted to read it without having to be taught it. So I had that experience first. And in fact, I tried to read it even earlier, and you had said to me, wait 2 more years, because you're like, you'll absorb it, but it's going to mean something if you're a little bit older.
For being a bad father, I would occasionally say something that was really good, because that's really good advice.
Yeah, because you could read that book young and just be like, that was good.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that same thing, because you're not at the level of like changes. I was younger than him in the book, but it was still like a good time for me.
But you have to have raw nerves by the time you read that
Exactly.
book. Now, I remember, and I believe it was 7th grade, I read a separate piece and wasn't into it, and then found myself falling into it, and then at the point of the swerve, going, holy shit, this is nuts. And that was about, of course, they were kids during, and the world was at war. And I'm like, oh, can you imagine living like that? But only when I got older did I think to myself, hey, the Vietnam War was around my entire childhood, and I ignored it as much as I could. You know what I mean? Like, it would seep into my consciousness, but there was an entire part of, I'm not going to fucking focus on this terrible shit that has the adults so freaked out. Just not going to do it. And then at a certain point, I don't remember when they do To Kill a Mockingbird. That was the first book that I ever read in one night. Like, sat down to read it, and, you know, the fucking sun was coming up when I was finishing it, and I was just fucking blown away.
Yeah, I was obsessed with it.
And that was one that I wanted really no part of. Here's Brian, Baton Rouge. Brian.
Hey, fellas, ladies. There's no way you would have told me I would have enjoyed anything that wasn't on TV when I was young.
Yeah.
And I went to the last night to read Call of the Wild. Our teacher gave us a test the next day, and I read that book to death. That was a good ass book. Call of the Wild was my favorite book to this day.
It is, it's an amazing one and perfect for the age that they assign that to you.
That was a great book. I loved that book too. And I love that, that was kind of like how you kind of maintain some of those books end up to this day being your favorite books. Probably because you read so much fiction when you're a teenager, especially.
And also, those stories to you are new. You know what I mean? Like, as old as the Call of the Wild is, that's a new story for you. 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. Here is, let's go to Tom, Oklahoma. Tom, what was the book that blew you away when you were a kid?
Hey, Ryan B. Tom the Cop. Animal Farm, this big chested English teacher got me to read my first book was Animal Farm about talking pigs and other animals. And it was ever since I read that book, that was the first book I ever read cover to cover, but and I average a novel a week right now, at 50 years old.
Tom, I got to tell you, I was thinking about Animal Farm yesterday with Mitt Romney. Where Mitt Romney
at the table?
Yeah, Mitt Romney at the table where he had stood up and said, everything that he said about Trump, and then just seeing them eating crab cakes together after the election. Mark Cuban was the same way, that these guys, and I remember feeling that way about the Bushes and the Clintons when they hooked up and became such buddies, that you think, oh my God, they fucking play us all the time.
They just play you.
At one point when Mitt Romney was saying all this stuff, I'm going, maybe I misjudged Mitt Romney. Maybe he's this Mormon man of honor. But if you look back to the tweets that he had about the misogyny and everything, and then seeing him really, he's trying hard to get the Secretary of State job. And I don't give a shit whether he gets it or not. I don't know how important any of that stuff is one way or another. But just knowing that everything that they say in public is fucking wrestling talk. Yeah. It's disgusting.
It's really...
And I don't care what side you fall on it. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter to me that once they're in that public thing, they say something to you. And maybe it's always been that way. Maybe Lincoln was that way. I don't know. Maybe George Washington was that way. Maybe this is nothing new at all. Bill, in New York, what was the book that fucking blew you away when you were a kid?
It started with The Grapes of Wrath by Steinbeck, but then before you get into all his books, it was like he was punk rock before punk rock, trying to buck the system and screw over the man. I always loved his work.
Yeah, Steinbeck was an amazing writer.
Yeah, that's another one. There are so many books that I read, even books that I loved, that I definitely have to reread, because that one did blow me away as well.
It was Cannery Row was this maybe the first Steinbeck I read, or maybe the one that got to me the most, but just fucked with me completely. Let's go over here to Pat in the Bronx.
Hey, guys. First book that really got me was Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman.
You read the play?
Yeah, well, yes. But it really got me thinking that, life sucks no matter how much you could try. At the end of the game, what you can...
Well, the whole thing about Death of a Salesman is that thing when you see your father through different eyes.
Yeah.
And it's just, everyone goes through it when they just figured out that their dad is a guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He could be a good guy. Doesn't mean that. But you have put him so high up that by the time he drops down at all, you're just like, regular fellow.
And it's always the extremes. Like, you either have, like, oh, my dad's the greatest, or, God, he was such a shitty person. And then you're just like, oh, my God, he's just like a human.
Just a dude,
just a human man.
He's just a fucking dude, like anyone else you know. That's it.
I read a lot of plays in high school, and I loved that one. I loved The Crucible, which is also Arthur Miller.
Yeah.
That was like a big game changer for me. All
right, 844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. Hey, here is Smoke. Smoke, what's up?
Buddies, I was going to say The Body, which is, the adaptation of the movie Stand By Me. He wrote the book and then did Stand By Me, obviously.
You were a big fan of that, too, as well, right?
Absolutely. And that was in that collection of... I think I read it within the collection of short stories.
With Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I loved that book as well.
Aren't you always curious why a guy just makes it a short story instead of a novel? You know what I mean? You're like, you could say, just flesh it out a little more. You're right there.
But I actually think that when short stories and novellas are best for adaptations, like, I think that works best
because it's a pitch.
Yeah, it's a pitch, and then also they fill in the blank. You don't have to omit anything. You just add on to an already existing story.
Hey, JT, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Hey.
Hey, Lenny Bruce, how to talk dirty and influence people.
Yeah. That was, that was a shocker for a kid. And it's very weird that there's certain people, it doesn't matter what generation that they were from, that kids are attracted to it. Lenny Bruce is it for comedies. Kerouac is it for a writer. But you could be 15, 16 and read a book like that and you're like, yeah, I want to be just on the outside of society, but close enough that I'm sitting there judging it and criticizing it at all time. Let's go to Matt in Boston. Matt.
Hey, guys. I don't know. Did you ever read this one? It's called Watership Down. It was like Huckleberry Finn with rabbits.
Because of, I hear about this book my whole life anytime books are discussed. And it's one I never picked up because, just like you said, with rabbits.
I never read that.
Yeah.
It was great. It was a big, fat book for a kid that age.
Yeah.
It was actually the first, big, challenging book I ever read.
And it ends kind of sideways, right? I mean, it's not the happiest ending that you'll ever have. John, what's up, buddy?
And I got flowers for Algernon.
Well, we just kind of brought that up yesterday. I forgot who I was saying. I like anything where a person goes from kind of being slow to fucking smart and then back to slow. That's all based on this. And they made the movie Charlie out of this, but that's fucking Niagara Falls, Frankie Angel stuff when you're a kid.
That's one I never read, and that's always weird when you're like, how did that one get by me? Like, there's so many that you could go through that you're just like, for whatever reason, you didn't pick it up.
Here's David. David in Jersey.
Hey, guys. Yeah, the book that changed my world completely in high school was The World According to Garp by John Irving.
John Irving has never written anything that I didn't love. Literally, like if I could have ever said, "Oh, I'd want a writer's life," it would be John Irving's, because he never seems to be too stupid about it. He's not braggadocious and he's not insane, and his stories are surreal but touching. He's just great,
and it grounds you in a way that there's this non-realistic but at the same time realistic life going out there that can touch you in many different ways. So it's just something that changed from first book in high school I read cover to cover, like many people are saying. So great topic, guys. Thanks.
And by the way, always felt lonely. You always feel the aloneness.
Yeah.
But I did a thing with John Irving where we did an hour together, and it was the most intimidating thing because before he said I don't like to meet people until we walk out the last second because you could lose a lot of stuff, and they're like, John wants you to pick something for him to read, and I go, well, he can pick whatever he wants. I'd love for him to read. And then it came back to me, no, he really wants you to pick it out because he wants to. I'm like, I'm not picking out his fucking work. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say, here's the fucking chapter or here's the paragraph I want you to read. I'm not a fucking educated person, okay? I'm exposed right now. I'm in all of this, man. And, it's really important to him. So I go down to the green room and I meet him. And he's like, now, Ron, what would he puts like what would you like me to do? So I bring it up and he goes and he stops and he looks at me and goes, that's excellent. Now, where would you like me to start it? And he takes his book and I see it's his copy of the book and there's all things written in different places and underlined for, just like syllables that he wants to hit. And I felt like I was fucking at home plate. And fucking Steve Carlton's fucking pitching to me. I'm like, I'm going just to try to get a fucking stick on the ball. That's all I want to do here. It was amazing. And then that fucking conversation was like different than because we didn't, and this place was like, well, is this an unmasked? I'm like, no, it's not. And he goes, then they're like, what is it? I go, you sleep with it. It's me and John Irving in front of an audience. How's that not a good thing?
Something else.
Yes. Let's just fucking not name it something. Let's just do it.
But how funny, like, immediately you probably just feel like you're in school again to be called upon.
Never did I have anything in school that came that close, because I thought my teachers were dopes. I thought that the principals were dope, and I'd have talked my way around anything. But this is the guy who made this.
Yeah.
He made these books. Do you remember there was a certain one of his books that I just started to tell you the story of when you guys were kids?
Yeah, that was a prayer for Owen, for Owen Meany.
And it took me 2 hours to tell the story, and we drove the whole way. It was like the craziest experience of our life.
It was a long car trip.
Yeah.
And so you began to say, oh, I just read this book. It was great. And you started to describe how the book began. And he went through in such great detail. It was like 2.5 hours long. But as the book happened, like it was, and to the point that like a few years after that, I was like, that time that I read A Prayer for Owen Meany, I was like, oh, I didn't read that. It was like told to me.
I'm going to put an asterisk here too and let you know that was an early sobriety moment. And, you know what I mean? Like everything was just, so intense to me at the time, like making it through each day was so difficult that those 2.5 hours, and you guys are just, you couldn't have been cooler. Like you were like really into it, like it was a movie. It was a great experience and not lined up for one. Lou in Ohio.
Yeah, how about The Natural by Mahmoud?
Well, that book, again, you take something that's real, and then you take it to a certain place. It's not absurdity, and it's not surreal. I don't know what that heightened reality would be called, you know, where things happen that can only happen in a novel. If they happen in a movie, you're like,
right.
Kind of cheesy.
It's almost like mystical as opposed to magical.
That's really a good way of putting it. Now, who do we got? Nick at Night?
Yes.
I wonder what Nick at Night's would be.
What kind of book?
I'm going to say a sports book.
You think it's a sports book?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't really tell. Like, what would he be into?
I don't know. I'm trying to see if Chris could call him over and go ahead, Nick. What was the book for you that was life-changing as a kid?
Definitely To Kill a Mockingbird. I love that book.
Yeah,
it's a great one.
It's a really good one.
And you know what? He's all about being righteous.
He is a righteous too. Because you know what? It's kind of funny. I was going to start talking out, but like something about a good man who does right. Because he's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
Thank you, guys.
Sweet boy.
And it makes sense that the sweet boy would love a sweet man.
I would vote for this kid to be our senator right now if we had the opportunity.
That's a lot of pressure on.
I know, but you know what? I think you're ready for it. I think you're ready to measure yourself. Now, what about Jen? What do you think, Jen? Something from the islands?
Island of the Blue Dolphin?
No, I really liked Anne Frank when I was growing up. Because I read it when I was a teenager, and it just made me really...
Now, do you picture yourself as Anne Frank, just hiding from the Nazis?
I think, like, at the time, because, like, I am dark-skinned, so, like, my family, like, my ancestry came from slaves, so I related more to, like, her story.
You thought of yourself as, like, how would I handle being a young slave?
Yeah.
I got news for you, Jen. You'd be in the house no matter what was happening.
Which did not always work out well for women, but...
Yeah, that's... I never said it. There's no good thing, no good slave position, but that's the funny thing. Like, you look at Anne Frank, and she's saying it because of a totally different reason of what Anne was. That's the unbelievable thing about giving a kid a book.
Most girls usually say the bell jar. So.
Here is Lynn in Jersey. Lynn.
Hey guys, mine was Brave New World by Aldous Huxley.
That's a great one to bring up. Now, do you feel like we're there yet?
Oh God. Yeah, Thanks a lot.
That's one of those books that gets up and like, what are we in Brave New World? What are we in 1984 now?
Yeah, that's a common one.
And 1984 is another one of those books that when you read it as a kid, just fucking mind blowing. Bobby Boy, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Bennington.
Hey, man.
Lord of the Flies. Lord of the Flies. High school wrestler.
When Piggy died.
I was a high school wrestler. I went around thinking I was Jack, just becoming really abusive as a teenager.
Lord of the Flies is, on every level that that's true. Even though it didn't happen, beat by fucking beat that it's true.
Yeah, that book I remember specifically. I was reading on a car. I was in high school and I was reading on a car trip and was so enthralled with it, and really I felt really emotional about it. I was just on edge. That book's fantastic.
For me, the heartbreaking scene was not even Piggy, but when the adults just show up and they're just and the adults are just let down immediately.
Yeah,
you're English schoolboys.
Yeah, what have you done?
Yeah.
You're disgusting.
Yeah. And that was every time that my teacher came back from taking a piss.
Yeah.
She would put someone in charge and we would go straight Lord of the Flies. Let me just give this fucking advice out. Do not put the nerdy good student in charge.
No. Pick a tough guy.
Yeah. Grab a fucking knockaround kid, put him up there, and the power will go to his head immediately. You know what I mean? Nobody will be fucking talking. That fucking nerdy kid is getting turned on. 844 Rock God. 844 Rock God. Matt, what's up?
So in the 7th grade, we had a choice of reading War of the Worlds or Martian Chronicles.
Good one.
And I was a Bradbury fan and I read Martian Chronicles, but that was just so fucking different. The way he wrote it wasn't so much science-y as it was just this sort of hyper-realism. The way he wrote was really beautiful, I thought.
Well, I've heard Bradbury talk about this before, that astronauts came back to him and said, how did you know what it would feel like to be in space? That's really weird. And, man, we came very, very close to getting Ray Bradbury on this show late in his life. We were really working hard on it. And he had turned very, very conservative, and I think he was doing something maybe with Fox News or something, which was right next door. And we're like, let's get him. And they're like, he's got too full of a schedule and he gets tired. But the Illustrated Man, to me, when I was a kid, fucking changed everything.
Yeah.
To know that all these stories could be tied together through one thread, and you were right that there were the mystic meets magic. I mean, to me, any Black Mirror that I watch, it's Bradbury. It's Bradbury all the way through for me.
And that book, Illustrated Man, was really special to me because that was one that my brother read and then he gave to me. So It was one he picked up. I kind of had skipped over it. And so I always think of him with that book.
Hey, Doug, Long Island.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are you?
Hey, what's up?
My one of the books I read, I think I was a senior in high school or freshman in college, was Less Than Zero by Bret Easton Ellis. And that was an eye-opener for me. It was just kind of crazy book.
The depression level that you can hit with that, where nihilism is just, any kind of junkie book always does that to you. And I used to find junkies very romantic when I was a kid, but Less Than Zero is a fucking perfect title because it's just and very, there's all kinds of nice clothes and nice cars and all, but it's just shit. I mean, you taste shit in your mouth while you're reading it. Here's our buddy, the Pit Doc.
Hey, Ronnie. Mine was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
There has never been, I read the book, I saw the Broadway play, and then saw the movie, and loved each of them, but I'd have to say that the book is the best.
Yeah.
Out of them all. And I love that movie.
They tell it from the view of the chief, but then again, I agree that the movie is probably one of the best book adaptations I've ever seen.
You know who never saw it? Ken Kesey. He never watched that fucking movie.
What was his reasoning?
He said, do you think I want to go down to a parking lot and watch my daughter get raped? He felt like he sold it too cheaply. He had his own idea of what they wanted to do with it, when they told him Jack, he didn't see it as R.P. McMurphy. R.P. McMurphy was a great big guy, 6'5", big redheaded guy with fucking giant hands. And he just was like, I don't get this shit. And then everyone, even worse for him, everyone come back and go, dude, it's great. And then he really dug in. I'm like, I'm not fucking seeing this. But that book is, it's far spacier than the movie. You know what I mean?
That was obvious. I saw the movie first and loved it so much, and was shocked how much I loved the book because they are very different. But yeah, you're right. All three of those kind of stood on their own. Like they all three had their own world about them.
Let's go to Jay in Mississippi.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
How are you?
Cool in the gang, my friend.
Yeah, man. Really, I was in the blue reading group, so I really didn't like reading that much. So I have to say, the thing that changed it all for me was the Jim Plunkett story.
Because his parents were blind?
Yeah, they were deaf.
Deaf?
They were deaf.
I always had in the back of my mind they were blind. They're deaf.
No, they're deaf. But it just got me reading, and that's why I liked it. Love you guys.
Peace. That happened. It's really smart to do those bios for young boys. I remember read everything that there was. Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, Chrissy got caught up with Jim Thorpe.
Love that man.
Joe Namath is just
Mickey Mantle too.
The Mick.
I read every Mickey Mantle book, but none of them ever really mentioned the drinking.
No, they didn't. They always had it. They were all the All-American boys. Jackie Robinson, I read everything there was to read.
That's interesting.
About Jackie Robinson.
That does happen with boys. Like, it takes sometimes, like, sports books to get boys into it, but then, like, young girls seem to be more into novels immediately, or into fiction first.
Yeah, because there's different, there's different types of fiction. Like little girls dream of some enchanted life, but little boys' first dreams are of achievement, right? And none of these guys were supposed to make the team. Mm-hmm. I mean, these are books by the number. They're as much fiction, like Chris said, as anything else,
Propaganda pieces.
And there was always somebody would be saying, I'm telling you right now, Mick, you belong in the outfield. Like there's always that thing that is very comfortable to a little boy reading it, but they were never supposed to make the team. They always stuck up for somebody when they were younger. Yeah. You know what I mean? They stuck up when somebody was getting bullied.
Well, it's kind of interesting you say that because I think about how many stories for young children, like if you think of fantasy stories in the same way you're talking about these sports stories, are you have an ability inside of you that you didn't realize and you unlock it. Like all the Harry Potter books are about that. Oh, you didn't know you were special. It's like a very common theme.
Sure.
Whether it's for achievement or something fantastical, it's always like, oh, you didn't know you had these powers.
Well, they've really even turned it now to where the girls are, somebody who lives out in the country and then they come in and kill everybody in the city and they fix they make right. But it's because of their simple country.
Right.
Humble beginnings. And Luke Skywalker is the same thing.
Yeah.
He had no idea. Here he was. He has these shit jobs to do. That he's the most important person in the universe.
It's a Cinderella story.
Just a moisture farmer.
Unbreakable.
Here is Ralph in the Bronx.
It's kind of timely because it's the time of year, Ronnie and Gail, but A Christmas Carol. Charles Dickens sent me on a deep end, and I'm actually making my first trip to London, so your GPS filled in perfect.
Oh, man, enjoy. Give us a call, too. Let us know that you loved it. It's weird because there you are in the Bronx, but I always think city people can make out at any city that they go to. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be a comfort level. Like, I think it would be easier for city people to move to London than it would be to move to West Texas.
And then you're like, oh, okay, I got it. Like, train. You got a train. Get you.
You call the train a tube. Gotcha. All right. I'm with you.
I'm in.
All right, so meat pie. That's what we're eating instead of slices. Got you. Chris in White Plains.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey.
How about the Basketball Diaries, Jim Carroll?
Oh, I loved that. Loved and was very obsessive over it.
I was the same exact way. Another one of my junkie books that I loved as a kid. And Jim Carroll was supposed to do our show. Oh, I can't make it on this date. Well, can we move it back? Yeah, of course. And then he passed away. But I saw pictures of him late in life, and he was so thin, and he must have been pretty weak then. But I've also heard around town how many people Jim Carroll helped, and that is a thing because he did it anonymously. That isn't known, and people are like, "Oh, you glorified heroin for young people," but he also glorified sobriety in his life. And some people were turned off on that. You know, punk rock people always struggle with steps or whatever. But great fucking writer. And he wrote it when he was so young. And it was so cocky. And again, just...
And the characters were so rich. Like, their voices were so present. And, yeah, I loved that book.
It may have even been... I'm not sure, but it's weird for me because all the books always lead to something else. Sometimes music leads the book, sometimes books lead to music or to movies, and I'd always just noticed, even as a young person, that there was a singular, fucking real, recognizing real universe that takes place. Let's go to Jay in Mass. Jay.
Hey, Ronnie.
Hey, buddy, what's up?
Not much. How are you? One that my mother threw at me when I was 12 years old being a jerk was A Child Called It.
I don't think I know this.
Ooh, it's an autobiography by David Peltzer about his childhood abuse from his mom. And I almost don't recommend it.
Now, are you saying that your mom said, here, read this to see what you've been going through? Or read it, it could be worse?
No, I just had been showing a lack of appreciation around the house and stuff towards family, so she kind of threw it at me one day, told me not to leave the room until I finished it.
Almost giving you this book could be considered abuse.
Yeah, they're like, look at how bad it could get.
And any of you guys heard of this before?
No, I've never heard of it.
He actually wrote a few of them. He followed it up with The Lost Boy, which took place a few years later, but A Child Called It. One in particular passage that really sank in with me was he talked about the only time his mother ever showed him love for a split second was when she accidentally stabbed him with a pair of scissors. And he said that was like the one time, like the fear of getting in trouble took over, and she actually showed some compassion for him, threw a bandage on him.
Oh, just sounds fucking brutal, dude.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said, I almost don't recommend it.
Yeah, I don't think I want to read it.
No, this
I really
is not
don't.
going to be one for
But I do want to have a talk with your mom, because I think she went too far. All right, thanks for calling, Jay. Here is Jim in Florida.
Hi, Ronnie B.
Hey.
Yeah, Ball 4 by Jim Bouton. You know, it was like the first locker room expose.
First time I read fuck, the word fuck in a book.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ralph Howe, shit, fuck, shit. That was his favorite swear word.
Now, this was a very controversial book. It probably came out in the 60s or something, right? So
that's right.
He was the first baseball guy who wrote, oh, we fucked chicks. Oh, we were doing speed. Oh,
we hid under the bleachers and looked up women's dresses.
And it was about the Yankees. And he writes this book, and everybody hates him and said you're trying to ruin baseball and you're going to have the kids not want to, idolize baseball stars.
Well, they didn't invite him back for the old-timers games for a long time.
Decades, because he had broken the code. But I remember reading that book, and I wanted to be a baseball player even more. I'm like, this is fucking unbelievable. And all my buddies read it, and but he was a rat. There's no fucking doubt about it. You write about people that aren't yourself, and they're your friends. I mean, if Chris put out a book it could be 100% truth, and we'd all hate him.
Right.
And by the way, his truth is never 100%. You know what I mean? He leaves some things out about himself, but everyone else gets totally exposed.
Make myself look really good in this situation.
We got talking about books that lit us up, all from an Audible commercial, by the way. But I had actually said I wanted to go back and read some classics. Like, for some reason, I'm always looking for new books. But most of these books that I claim to love, I read once, and that was it.
You know what's also interesting to me? For the most part, the majority of the ones that people have been naming are all books that at one time or another were on those like banned book lists.
Absolutely.
Like all the good ones that really stood out with young people are the ones that they find dangerous. 1984, Slaughterhouse-Five, Lord of the Flies.
You don't want to wake a kid up. I mean, I get it from a fucking teaching point of view. I want to keep them fucking paying attention. I don't know whether we did Chris. Now, Chris, I know, first of all, he's an incredible reader.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it is extreme fantasy and science fiction.
And sometimes just sexy books like 50 Shades of Grey and...
Sexy books! Well, they're used
trash.
I remember reading Candy by Terry Southern when I was a kid, and there was a whole style of books that were like basically novel pornography. And Terry was, a little too literary to fall completely into it. But for me as a kid, it was a dirty, dirty book. And I must have gotten it either from an older brother or a sister, and I was fucking crazy about it. But literally would read a chapter, hide the book. You know what I mean? Did not want to be caught with this book. So, first of all, just say that book that fucking blew your mind.
It was Fahrenheit 451, which is like the first science fiction book I ever read, and that and Foundation by Isaac Asimov. I think I read them like right after each other. Fucking, that's it. It set me off. There's just like lifelong loving sci-fi.
Fahrenheit 451 goes back to Bradbury, and as I remember, like that was one of the first books that didn't work out the way you wanted it to.
Exactly.
Like the same way 1984 is. Like, you're like, I don't know how they're going to win this.
Oh, they're not.
And to this day, they're afraid to do that with most movies. You know what I mean? A novel can have, the dog gets killed in a novel, doesn't always die in a movie.
Fucking bleak.
But was there a nonfiction book that slayed you? Or non-fantasy?
I think To Kill a Mockingbird was a big for me as a kid. I read as a kid. I haven't reread it, so that's something I'd like to reread too. But it was the science fiction stuff was what really just set me off.
Yeah, there's what we were saying, like little boys, you learn with that, but then science fiction is your first thing that you get into. Pulp Fiction is also
that's cool.
Who was the writer that we had in
Elmore Leonard.
Leonard. And he was just so straightforward. And the number of books, if someone said, who's your favorite authors, it would take me forever before I brought up Elmore Leonard. But the number of books I've read by that man was ridiculous. And he used to write in a thing that is really almost gone, which was the Western novel, which was really, really big with men at one time. They would just read like the dime novel went from like the 1870s up until like 1950s, where that was like almost the number one genre of book that men would read. Was this escapism?
Yeah, I went through an Elmore Leonard phase when I was like in middle school, which is
of Quentin.
Yeah, because of Quentin, and then we like had moved to Miami, and it was like,
oh yeah, you did a lot of South Florida things.
Yeah, so there was like a lot of those books, but it was a very weird phase for a middle school girl to go through. Like everyone would be like, "What is this? What?"
That was
reading?
A weird time, though. You know what I mean? Like literally, the Elmore Leonard things were being done by all the good directors.
Yeah,
at that time.
Out of Sight. they made Out of Sight, which was an Elmore Leonard. Swag was my favorite by him, which I don't think that they ever made a movie of.
Well, some of them they make and they change the titles as well. Let's go to Bo in Tennessee.
How do, Mr. B?
Hey, man.
Oh, y'all living the dream. Yeah, I hate to go back to Steinbeck, but being from California originally, by far my favorite. Mice Men cheered me up. As dumb as Limitless.
I know, man. I felt the same way. I was crushed at the end of that.
I cried like a baby.
Yeah.
Oh, it hurt me.
And that's when you really know. Like if a book can move you to tears, like you're just crying and holding a book.
I remember doing that. You can't fucking believe it. You lay it down for a little bit and you pick it up and you're just like, think about the fucking rabbits.
No, it's still painful.
Think about the rabbits. Thanks, buddy. Nick in Delaware.
Hey, Ron. Hey, Gail. I ended up teaching literature for 13 years, so I'm loving this conversation. And the book that got me when I was in high school was The Great Gatsby. And it was like when you said, Ron, that you To Kill a Mockingbird, you just plowed through it. With Gatsby, I didn't put it down, and I remember thinking this is real art. The sentences are beautiful, and it got me. It was the first author I became obsessed with too. I just was obsessed with Fitzgerald for a while.
Well, and that's a perfect thing too, baby, because this is something that's so unique. But a lot of times when you're reading a novel, you're into the story, but you're also thinking about the person who wrote it and what their life and times were like. And Fitzgerald was a celebrity author. I mean, he was terribly interesting. I think about him every time I pass the plaza. You know what I mean? Like it never changes for me. The Gatsby is also, I think that's popular because the loneliness that teenagers feel in a way that, like, sometimes you should be lonely now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you just, this is life. You know what I mean?
But yeah, you're right. Like even to connect with the author makes you feel like not just the character.
I've never read a good book and not been thinking about the writer almost every page, almost at the same time.
I was much younger. I was not in high school. I was in young when I started reading S.E. Hinton, and I had read The Outsiders, and I had just finished it, and I loved it so much. And you said to me, S.E. Hinton is a woman. And I was like, oh, wow, that's really cool. And I went upstairs to my bedroom and cried like a baby because I couldn't believe, I don't know why, but like it was so like exciting and hard. Like it just was too much to think that she was a woman who could send me somewhere that I believed that she was writing from the perspective of someone else. And it was like the coolest thing in the world to me.
Well, you could always tell that when they use initials, they're women almost 95% of the time because it's a turnoff to people to read books is like, oh, this is going to be a woman's book. And I don't know if she ran around with the bad kids or just looked at them and was writing up these stories. But she was very young.
Yeah.
Very young when she wrote those books.
But I love that I had just been like, that's very interesting. I'm going to leave in a minute.
Honey, we're having lunch.
I'll be down in it.
A woman achieves something.
Girls can do anything boys can do.
This changes everything.
I love her so much.
I know you do, honey. Now come down.
I love her so much.
I know you do, honey. Now come on down here. We're having one of those big old sandwiches you like. Cucumbers going right on the sandwich.
Okay.
Who I was thinking of in Almost Famous when they sat around and were talking about writing, and the guy that he, was his mentor,
Lester,
the rock writer Lester Bangs, and said that he would get high and just type out different things of other people just to feel what it felt like to write those things. And then I'd read that Hunter Thompson had said the same thing, that he would take a Hemingway book and just type it up while he was sitting there to feel like this is what it feels like to write this. is so fucking smart.
Yeah.
I mean, it's brilliant. It's brilliant for a young person to start and model the writing of someone else by just typing their work.
I was just like, yeah, and then I'll just make up this part. Like, it's just like muscle memory or something. Like, oh, this is what it feels like.
Well, you're just saying, this is what it feels like to do something fantastic. And so that it'll let you feel it so that someday you'll do something fantastic. I mean, in the same way that a rock band will start doing cover songs. It's fucking, I don't know why a school teacher hasn't said, type up fucking 3 paragraphs. See how different it feels than your own fucking personal writing. Think about it like you wrote it. And then I would get up on top of a desk just so that they would see from a different perspective.
Well, or a stack of books if it's the play.
If I was teaching young people, right, the first day of class, I would be in there and I would just be fucking attacking it, right? Just values and life and exploring. And then the next day I would come in and go, everything I had to tell you, I told you yesterday. I don't know what to do now. I guess read chapter 4. But you remember, I mean, I put it all in that first hour. I don't have something to tell you every day. There's not that much information for fucking, following your bliss. All right, we got a break here, right?
Yes.
Vito never lets me know when he's in this room.
I don't know why.
But thank you to everybody for...
He gets in trouble for that every day.
Every fucking day.
I don't know why.
I don't know why he does it.
Dude, this way that we're set up now, we're keeping forever.
Really?
Yes. Forever. Because I can't throw anything at you. I believe you're losing weight. That's statement. I really do. But thank you to everybody for calling in for that. That was amazing and fun. Everybody in here. I don't know why, but it seems like... There's almost nowhere that people talk about books anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like we say that we don't have time to do it, but we just sat here and touched this. Every one of us has books that we love. Most of the people that come up, all of us have read it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where is this gone? I don't even know if we have a famous young writer today living in this country.
Who is our...
Franzen?
Yeah,
Thank you. And fucking compare him to what celebrity writers were like, because he could walk down the fucking street and we wouldn't know him. But when Norman Mailer used to walk in fucking New York, it was controversial, you know? Yeah. It was amazing that this city was filled with celebrity writers in its history up until now.
Man, I was just looking at this article about this party that Truman Capote once threw, and it was just like just photographs mostly of just like this party and all these people. It was like fantastic, and I was just like, oh man, I wish I was there.
Dude, Elaine's was like that every night for fucking decades. Every night that the fucking best writers would be sitting there, drunk, smoking, and arguing about the fucking news of the day. It had to be unbelievable. Immediately of coming to New York, I went to Elaine's. And those guys were there. They were old, you know what I mean? But there were still guys there. It was fucking... And now that it's gone, it's gone. We'll be right back. Bennington. Guitar sounds. I'm making guitar sounds now with my voice. We were just doing some office gossip, and we were wondering if Jen likes Nick more or Connor more. And I said she spends a lot of time sitting back there with Nick.
Yeah, I mean, like, she definitely seems close to Nick, but I thought Connor. Your vote is Nick.
First of all, you got the good boy versus the bad boy.
Right, exactly.
Nick is every mother's dream. That's why I love him.
Oh, you want to bring him home.
Yeah.
Mama.
Connor is motorcycle riding, no helmet, eating a chicken sandwich in a bus kind of a guy. All right, let's just play this game. Now, you care about Jen, right, Vita? Who would you pick for her if you had to pick for her? If you were, what do the Jews call that position? Yenta? Is that the Yenta?
Yenta.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have to go with my sweet boy, Nick.
Smart move. Who would you pick?
I would say, I think Connor. I think Connor is, I see her with Connor.
Chris.
She needs some Connor in her life.
And I'm going straight Nick. You know why? She's a good girl. She deserves a good life.
Seems like it's going to be a lady's choice. As it always should be. I mean, we don't want her to be forced upon.
Well, these times that we live in, now in the 2017s, these modern gals want to pick their own husbands.
Weird. She was Marcus Hook, too.
No one has Marcus Hook.
No, that's not an option.
He's with a psycho girlfriend, and I still don't think he's good enough for her. Have you met her?
I met her very briefly.
Frightening. She seems like the kind of person that would date Marcus.
She's intense.
Yeah,
I picked that up.
I think he's doing well for himself.
Oh, he's dating far above his head.
Yeah.
But she sent a chill down my spine.
Kind of crazy eyes.
As if I had met the Reaper.
Don't fear it.
I do. In this case, I do feel the Reaper. I don't care what Blue Oyster Cult tries to tell me. I'll feel that goddamn Reaper all I want to. Oh, look how none of Chris's stuff made the thing today.
I know, because he was sleepy.
It was all Gail, and I just noticed that.
Sleepy baby.
Gail Meets Girls is available for download.
Yes, you can go check it out on the Interrobang. We've also tweeted out some links. Oh, if you go to the Interrobang, there's actually just at the top there a podcast tab. Okay, cool.
I'll never find that.
So yeah, all the way on the right, podcast, and that's where you will find Gail Meets Girls.
You're the only one who plugs yours. The other guys don't plug.
I know, because I have pride.
Brian, in Georgia, what's up, buddy?
Go plug it.
You're not going to plug it right now.
How's it going?
Then it's a laundry list. Learn radio. Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, before I make the point I was calling about, I just want to tell you, the first time I heard you was in 1998 when I lived in D.C. It was literally life-changing. Listened to you ever since, with Fez and without. I love you so much. I'm glad your daughter is carrying on the tradition. And I even don't mind Chris Stanley and Vito, which I probably should, but they're not awful. So.
No, the point is, and I went back and looked at some old Ron Bennington lines of the day. Man, I used to be brutal on those fucking producers. Just unnecessarily cruel. Unnecessarily cruel. I should bring some in and read one day. The Whackbag guys had it made into books for me.
That's so sweet.
And I'm like, oh, maybe there's something I could use here. I'll never be that mean again. Hopefully. What did you call talk about?
I heard you guys talking about the book thing, and one of the points you made was that we don't really discuss books anymore. And I think part of the problem is with the depth that's involved in that conversation, you can't be engaged with every social media outlet while you're trying to talk to someone about a book. It just requires too much depth. And I think that's really the slide away from us, for us as a culture, to stop talking about them. It's just another effect of that.
Well, stuff that seemed so important at the time. I mean, just think of how much news came into you about the election for the past year that none of it matters to you now. Whether you were hearing about Ben Carson, and you had to be able to speak to your friends about Ben Carson, and that goes away. But those books, those conversations you could be in at any time. Yeah. Those truths stay true, where whatever the news was 6 months ago doesn't. But we are consumed with information flying at us.
And how overwhelming is it when you find out somebody's like, everyone's like, oh, did you hear this thing about whatever? And like the news maybe broke an hour before, and you just have this panic. You just look at your phone like, why did I not get an alert? And you're just like, well, it only happened an hour ago. This is a brand new feeling that you feel like you need to hear about everything as it happens immediately.
When I wasn't alerted that Grant Tinker passed away yesterday, I said, there's something, I'm changing up my news alerts. You're gone. But Grant Tinker did pass away yesterday. His resume of great TV shows, no one will ever, well, we were bringing up Louis C.K. might be in that thing now, but because Louis had 3 great shows out this year, but grants were seen by everybody. Everybody in the country saw Mary Tyler Moore. Everybody in the country saw Bob Newhart. Give me the list of TV shows that Grant Tinker was involved in. And at one time was married to Mary Tyler Moore.
Lucky.
All right, we got I Spy, the man from U.N.C.L.E., Dr. Kildare, Cosby Show, Family Ties, Golden Girls, Cheers, Night Court, Hill Street Blues.
Like, I don't know how you leaped over the 70s. You went from the 60s to the 80s.
Rhoda.
Jesus Christ. Never mind. Chris, I don't know where to put you. You know what I mean? I'm like that fucking baseball fucking coach. I know I got to play everybody.
Come on.
Put him in, coach. He's ready to play.
There's no way to go from the 60s to the fucking 80s and then come back and just yell Rhoda at us.
Bob Newhart.
These are unbelievable shows. One after another. And stop it. Seriously.
WKBR Cincinnati.
Stop fucking just spitting out this man's career. I'm at the end of the show. Oh. These are unbelievable shows, is what I'm trying to say. He had an unbelievable life. My life, on the other hand, I already wrote my thing. He did nothing. Period.
Oh.
But had fun doing it. He did nothing but enjoyed doing it.
But God damn it, he loved every minute of it.
Oh, how he loved to sit on the couch and tell stories. One day, for no reason at all, he started to decide who his interns should be dating among each other. Even though this is not a dating service, there's no one's reason for being here, he feels like he needs to pair up his interns. Look at Trump. He's walking through plants now. He's going to solve jobs one at a time for people. This is great. Look at this plant. Fantastic. One of the guys that works on stuff here, I don't want to give his name out. He goes, and they've been rebuilding every studio in this place. And he goes, I'm forced to take 2 weeks off. Not happy about it. I go, why? He goes, they want to shut the plant down for Christmas. I go, the plant? You mean this place? He's like, yeah. It's not a plant. Sad that it seemed that way. We produce radio. Just spitting out radio. Joke after joke after joke. Information fact after information fact. The great radio plant. My favorite plant of all time? Robert.
Really?
Robert Plant. Who we got here? What hip-hop stars are coming through?
Don't recognize.
I think it might have been Jizza from the Wu-Tang Clan.
No way.
One of those dudes looked like Jizza.
Stop fucking typing, please. Send Jen in here very quickly, because Jen was telling me...
Jen.
Yeah, tell her Super run it, like she did in high school, not like she runs now. She...
It's ridiculous looking.
Ouch. But you said you could run in high school. It's now.
I did, yes. I was a runner.
I need you to keep an eye on every hip-hop star that's walking by, because you said you had a podcast.
Yes.
Do you still do it?
No, I stopped in June when I moved back.
Yeah. But you would have hip-hop artists on your show.
Yeah, local Orlando, upcoming hip-hop or R&B. Yeah.
Sweet.
There are a lot of singers in Orlando.
Well, that's because that whole kind of American Idol thing started there, because they used to go Jive Records, right? Wasn't it Jive Records that was there in the 90s?
The pop record label?
Yeah, the pop record label. So all the Backstreet Boys and all that. But so it was Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and then the girls all came out of Orlando. Mm-hmm. Britney Spears, Christina.
Yeah.
And I think they had all done Disney shows as well.
Yeah, they were all in Mickey Mouse Club and all those type of...
So that got that started there. But my friend Billy the Phone Freak was at a party of the guy who just died, who was the pedophile guy who ran that, that used to promote all of them. And they were all playing volleyball at his beach-like thing. He had a thing and Billy was with them, and they felt like it was weird because he was a little older.
Yeah, but he was Twinkie, even though he was older.
I know, but they were saying stuff like, thanks, mister, when he would give the ball back to them. But he was with them all when, like, you know, they were just kids. They all broke at the same time, and it was all out of Orlando. And it was all because they were siphoning off Disney. They were just saying to the Disney kids, all right, you got a Disney contract, but imagine how much money you can be making as a pop star. And I thought, well, nobody wants a rock star to have some theater background where they have a trained voice. Wrong. They love it.
Yeah.
Even the young actor who's so beloved now from Drive.
Ryan Gosling.
He was
a Disney boy.
Yeah, they were all together as one. I mean, whoever did the casting for that show is a fucking genius. Genius. It's like they came up with the Big Mac and the Egg McMuffin at the same time.
Oh, God.
I'm taking this show full circle.
Good.
By the time I get here.
And I hope that means we're all going to McDonald's after this.
So, Jen, have you... No, I'll only go to McDonald's in the morning. But Jen, have any of your guests broke? Have they? Any of those are no.
One of them was currently like a Disney person. So she was at the compound, she called it. So like it was where NSYNC and Backstreet Boys came from. Yeah, started. So she's still like up and coming, trying to make it. Her name was Caitlin J.
I'm gonna keep my eye on her.
Yeah.
Now Caitlyn Jenner is who it was.
Wow, amazing. A lot of people get us confused when I braid my hair like that.
She's got a song called "Used to Have a Dick, Now I Tuck It." Who's your favorite? I was really loud, weirdly excited about.
Nick's loving it.
Yeah, just going crazy. But out of all, who's your favorite hip hop artist today?
It would have to be between Drake. Or
I said, calling you on the cell phone.
I like that Chris feels a need, just like it's a pretzel bun. He's got to go. Ugh.
What's your problem with Drake?
I don't like Drake.
But you're not even a hip hop guy. What do you care?
I don't know. It's because
right now when you need my love, I know when that cell phone ring.
Knock on that man one time.
Because I'll always see him as Jimmy from Degrassi, the kid who got shot in the back.
That's sad that you would even know him.
I've seen every episode of Degrassi Next Generation. It's a great show.
Weird.
Filthy. Drake and who else?
It was honestly between Kanye. I love Kanye.
Were you busted up that he went nuts crazy?
I was. I saw it coming though because his mom died around this time too. So that's what they said, like around this time, he's always very depressed because of what happened.
That stuff can trigger you.
Yeah. And he loved his mom.
Yeah.
You know, when I was 14, I did acid in the fall, right? In the autumn. And then every autumn that I'm like, I'm having a flashback. Because the colors were all the same and everything. I go, I think I'm starting to trip a little bit. Is anybody else starting to trip a little bit?
It's just very vibrant out here.
You sure? Feels trippy. I don't want to have to run from the moon again. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your loss for Kanye.
Yeah.
But at least Drake's doing great.
Yeah, he's doing very well for himself.
He has a new album December 3rd coming out.
Let's have a listening party. I hope
that sounds great.
I hope he does cell phone too. Just bringing it back one more time, man. I'm still calling you on my cell phone. Still? I just got a thing from Denny today that I loved. He said when he worked in AM radio, they wouldn't play any songs longer than like 3 minutes and 50 seconds or whatever. And he said that the DJs on certain songs would write in a false number so that the PD would not know that it was like a 4-minute song.
Oh, man.
So and then they would be able to sneak that song on. This is how far radio has gone, where they were that monitored back then. And then in terrestrial, they're that monitored now. But we could just sit here and talk about whatever the fuck we want to say and even say fuck. And it's crazy that you can. But people that I know from radio that still work there, they're like, so do you, how many times do we say fuck a show? And I go, it's never once dawned on me. I never do it for emphasis. I never do it for shock value. I do it the same way I would if we were out having lunch. Some days is a lot more than other days. Can't tell you.
Yeah, it's just conversational.
Now, with Chris, I like to say it held back a little more.
It just comes out. I don't even realize
Ew.
I'm saying it half the time. 3/4 of the time I say I don't realize I just dropped an F-bomb.
But people say stuff to me like, I have to drop my kids off and then I turn you on. But they used to say that about me when I was on terrestrial, too.
That's
I was
true.
always like a little sick, like, really? And then...
I listened on my way to school.
Yeah, I know, but I also meet people now, because they're in their 30s or whatever, and they go, and my dad used to let me listen to you. And I'm going, why wouldn't he? Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't realize. Sickening for some people, huh? Disgusting.
It's like early for body shots, I guess.
Yeah, but you know what? If it was body shots punching someone in the ribs, they'd be all for it.
Right.
I'd like to get to a point where we're a little more comfortable licking stuff off of women than we are punching women.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to run on that in 2020.
I'm going to vote for you.
And when I do 2020, I'm going to run on a 1-hour news show that is there mainly about women who were murdered by their husbands, and then the husband was caught. The only way a husband was ever murdered, it's because it was the wife's lover planned with the wife. Every one of those. This is why it's easy to be a detective. You get a call. All right, yeah. Oh, she's dead, huh? All right, no suspects. Welcome over, and I'll arrest the husband in about a half an hour. Yeah, I'm sure he has a bloody fucking hatchet in the trunk. They're all stupid crimes, too.
Because they're crimes of passion. There's no plan.
Even when they're planned, they're still stupid. Only because stupid people kill each other. It's a stupid thing to do. Now, it's also stupid to rob a bank, but there was a guy yesterday on 48th Street right here. He stole a bucket with $1.5 million of gold flakes, right? He just walked up as they were unloading it, grabbed the bucket, and started to fat waddle down the street.
Amazing.
And got away with it.
Did he? Because I see his face right there. He's not selling this. He's a hunted man. What he's done is stupid. He may have $1 million in gold flakes on him right now, but it's as valuable as this pen cap. He's not going to move it, and he's going to be arrested.
I think he's going to get away with it. He just sits on this for a little bit, and he'll be able to move that stuff.
They know who he is. They see his face. Look how much you're on fucking TV when you're in New York.
Everywhere.
I'll walk home today. If you knew how to do it, you could put a full movie and not miss a fucking step of mine walking home.
It is kind of eerie.
Do not commit crimes. You're fucking being watched, folks. You're being watched. You're living in a zoo right now. You're a fucking zoo animal. What are you doing getting papers for?
Just
more live reads?
Yeah.
We got one more.
Got one more.
live read.
It's constant with you, too.
It's a lot of live reads, Ron.
What is it?
Tito's handmade vodka.
Everybody knows about Tito. Tito Beverage and Tito's handmade vodka is the original craft vodka. How many times do we have to tell you? In 1995, Tito Beverage, yeah, it's his real name, had the idea of building his own micro distillery, incorporating the boutique winery concept in the spirits industry. Why? We told you yesterday he had a dream. He had a dream, folks. You won't listen to us. Oh, they got a big 95 wine celebrating. Everybody's very happy with that. 19 credit cards. Remember we told you about the credit cards? It's all true. World's best vodka tonic. It hasn't changed, folks. If you haven't gone out and picked up Tito's right now, I don't know what to do with you other than come to your house and just start shaking you. Just start shaking you till you can say it back to me, I'm sure. Oh, it's got a modest paper label. Just say it on this simple bottle. You know this. We put it in your head like you were in Westworld, okay? Your thoughts belong to us. The thing is, no one knows what's happened to Tito or where he is now.
No one? Well, I mean, isn't he still in Austin, Texas, making his vodka by hand?
I hope so. I don't even know how many times it's distilled.
Well, it's distilled 6 times from 100% corn, and that makes it naturally gluten-free. Visit us.
How do we visit?
Well, you can go to Tito'sVodka.com for recipes, songs, and more. 40% alcohol by volume, handcrafted to be savored responsibly.
I think we got to wrap up today. We love you. We'll be back here tomorrow on a Friday show. Jen, if you had to make your pick, who would it be? And let's just say for a one-night dinner, who would it be?
I can't choose. I love both of them.
Are you
I do.
thinking
I'm in a love triangle right now.
I would love that.
Wow. This is great content.
Wait, could it be a love quadruple where we bring in Marcus Hook?
I'm not going to be able to get her to agree to that.
Yes, in the middle of sweet love making, you would just hear, did you know that Seinfeld?
Wait, watch Beatles.
Jen, I heard you talking about Nick and Connor, but I really think we have something special.
Can I say something? That is a stereotype of the community. I know.
So accurate.
Jen, I'm telling you, I think we can have something real special.
Are you going to be Bobby Heenan or what to me? You turned on me. Now I'm all behind you now. Nobody wants this to happen, right? Nobody from either show cares about it?
I think we want it to happen.
Somebody else is going to make it happen because I'm not going to push.
Travis approached me today.
Really?
Yeah.
He's feeling good about it.
Travis said he heard that kid was talking shit about him and he wants to know when this is happening.
He was talking shit about
He
him.
was talking
but made up shit. Not real shit. Made up ridiculous shit that makes no sense.
He just kept saying the jerk store.
Yeah.
They ran out of it.
Like, there are things that people could say about you that might hurt your feelings. But if you just heard, oh, that Chris Stanley, well, he bowls with ducks. I mean, he just takes that duck and he'll bowl with it. Chris would not feel bad about that because it's so ridiculous. Let's get out of here. See you guys tomorrow or see you again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!